Well, hello. A little bit of technical difficulty. Welcome to Road Comics Adventures. I initially tried to get us started, and something would happen, and the whole live stream died. So here we go. Here's Rene.
Hey,
And
and they're going to put us in a car on the road together and think it's going to go well.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. That was ugly.
No, but I want to say thank you to your friend Mark because we had a thumbnail because of him, right?
I don't know where it is, but yeah, we do. I don't know what happened. I had everything looking pretty, and I was all set to go, and then it just went to hell. So,
Well, sometimes it happens. It's probably the internet. It probably wasn't us.
I don't think it was us. Oh, look, I got that going.
Oh, wow. All right.
Oh, shit. Shoot.
There go those national sponsors we wanted to have.
Right? Oh, speaking of sponsors, we don't have one, do we?
I never know whether we have a sponsor or not.
We don't, but if we did, duct tape. 1,001 uses. And also, you may not know this, it's got some medical applications as well. 1,002 uses, duct tape. It's good for everything that ails you.
I told you.
Duct tape.
Duct tape. Duct tape. You just have to be open to the possibilities.
Yeah. So.
You know what? Throw that in the car because I want that on the road with us. You never know when we might come up with an emergency.
Which do you want, no or hell no?
Either one, because I sort of saw that comment. If you are nothing else, you are consistent, my friend.
Indeed, I am. So, I've had. I don't want to get into the whole whatever. I've had this ongoing ear issue that started out forever and ago, and
long before me.
Long
before I came into the picture.
Yeah. So then I realized Rene and I were talking, and I said, I'm whenever I shower, I get water in my ear, and it's very, very painful. And so we were trying to come up with water repellent ideas so as to not get water in my ear. And so her idea was.
And I came up with it really quick. It didn't take me long.
Wrap my head in duct tape like a mummy.
No, that's what you heard. That's not what I said. I said we needed a baggie and some duct tape. Are you looking? It's our buddy Jeremiah, and you see what he says, right?
Yeah, I know who that is. It's just I'm duct tape. So a comment from one of Renee's friends that I'm looking forward to meeting says ear dicks, and if that were the only other option, I think I'd go with the duct tape. So there's that.
Right. Because my thought was we could put a baggie over your ear and just put a little bit of duct tape over it. I wasn't going to wrap your whole head in it, but you seemed to be. Flip is a two-bagger. That must be one of your friends.
That's our good friend Mark Majori.
Oh, that's my Mark. The one I like so much. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
So, Mark, I got your text. I haven't had a chance to write you back yet. I'm probably not leaving Louisiana until 2 or 3, which may not put me back into McKinney until 8:30, something like that. So we will have to discuss it by phone or text later. But and also I'm bringing my dog. Bring my dog, which is not a euphemism. If it were a euphemism, I bring my dog everywhere.
somehow we're off the rails again, and
Yep.
we are 5 minutes in. Nice job.
Thank you.
It wasn't me this time. It just wasn't me. But no, Mark, huge fan of yours, and you've really kicked us in the butt, and we've started doing a lot of stuff for our podcast. So I really appreciated all of your hints.
I do too. In fact, I went to Canva and created a thumbnail, which I'm going to add later to the YouTube recording. I haven't figured out how to add it here yet, which is why we have the Road Comics Adventures like little banner thing right there. So let's see. This is another. Oh, Mark says you're welcome. I don't know if you can see that there.
I can see that. Thank you. I really did appreciate it, Mark. Those were really good hints and everything. The Greg thing, not so much. I don't need another Greg, but
What did you say?
I said I don't need another Greg. Remember, he was sending you text messages that you were reading, and he told me about your friend Greg that he wanted to co-host. Oh. I'm a blurter.
Yeah, Ixnay.
Well, he knew you were, Mark knew you were telling me, right?
Yeah, but not the potential of the world. This is not a private conversation.
I think I'm starting to have a blurter problem.
Yeah. You were made aware.
Yes. You know what? This is the next of this weekend. You're going to McKinney, Texas.
Yep.
And you only have one other road trip that you're going on without me.
Yeah.
And now I realize why that is. Because you can't leave me alone at home, because I'll tell everybody everything while you're gone, apparently.
Oh my God.
That duct tape might come in handy, and it wasn't put anywhere where I thought it was going to be.
So Mark, and then this will stop being a private conversation. I did give Rene the 411. I gave Rene the info
411
on. Beg your pardon?
The 411.
Yeah.
The information.
I gave Rene all the information about all of our amusing
Anecdotes
and conversations and whatnot.
See, I know how to cover this crap up after I already do it. Do you see that?
So she's up to date.
Yeah. And apparently so are the 5 or 6 people that are.
So so Road Comics Adventure. So excuse me, I'm having a tickle. Oh, that would be my dog that's going with me. Okay, all right, good girl. So this weekend I'll be in McKinney, Texas, at the Comedy Arena, which is just north of Dallas. It's a suburb, and 2 shows Friday, 2 Saturday. Driving from Louisiana, bringing the dog, and then the next road trip that I'm taking is going to be in the end of July to the Phoenix Desert Ridge Improv and the Tempe Improv. And from there, we're really, I mean, I hesitate to use the T word because it has so many meanings these days, but I'm going to use it anyway. We're transitioning from clubs to theaters. And the biggest reason is I've loved my comedy club career. I've loved being in clubs. I've done clubs from the very, very, very beginning. I've had wonderful shows with amazing memories and great volunteers and tremendous audiences. But will continue to do clubs where and when it makes sense. but I've always seen my show as a theater show. A bigger stage, one show
More
per night,
volunteers.
more volunteers, more time to do the show, and a little bit more production. You know, comedy clubs oftentimes, especially Friday and Saturday, there's 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. It's a longer week, but traditionally, I have 90 minutes to 2 hours. And a 90-minute show is fine. It's great. The 2-hour show is better. But in the day, whatever the day was, when I was doing a lot of improvs and doing extended stays where I was there, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks at a time, especially on one show nights, I would do 2.5, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. And the shows were fun, and I got to do more stuff, and I got to do bigger, more complicated bits, and just the comedy club landscape, I think it's changed a little bit, and it still works, still love it. But Rene and I, when we first started talking, really had a long bunch of discussions and decided that, if possible, that we were going to make the big transition into theaters to just make the show bigger. So
Make
that's
it bigger. Hit the road, go more places.
yeah. That's the other thing. I've been, and the places I go, I love. I love Phoenix and Northern Virginia and Dallas, and some of the other places I've been. But Renee's been contacting theaters all over the place, and the reception
Has been really good.
really good.
Really good.
We're in talks with many theaters in many places I haven't been in a long time, and many theaters in some places I've never been to. And so, crossing my fingers.
Well, it's funny because we didn't have any idea what this would entail when we started.
Right.
And it's turned out to be much better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, over the years, I've done theaters here and there, so it's not. I don't have no experience, but I never made the commitment to, like, when the theater would come out, I would do it, but I never tried to build upon that to make that more the direction.
Right.
And so we decided that this was the right time to make that the direction. And so.
And I'm crazy enough to go right in on it with you.
Yeah, and then we started talking about some of the ways I would do my show in the past. And there were times where I had more light cues and sound cues, and it was sort of a bigger, more fun production. And it got to the point where it was really difficult because there was no one who would know my show well enough to be able to do the sound and light cues in a way that it would work. So Rene was gracious enough to say, and crazy enough to say, that along with me and my dog, that she would jump in the car with us and we would drive the highways and byways of America and start really putting the show out there.
I believe you were crazy enough to go, all right.
Right.
I'm excited. You can go if you can behave.
Let's see. The comment was, I wonder how many people even remember 411.
Nobody remembers 411.
No. I sadly make old references.
But yeah, I'm ready to go. We're 11 weeks till we leave.
So we're going to actually start doing, besides the hopefully weekly podcast on Tuesdays, we're going to start doing, I think, shorter videos and some podcasts.
Well, my idea is on this road trip, I want you to film some stuff. You can even go live.
And then we're going to do some shorts on YouTube. guess what? Not that anyone cares, not that anybody knew. I actually got myself a special phone just for social media. So I got a TikTok account. I always swore I would never do TikTok. Not now, not ever. I swore I would never do TikTok. I'm afraid of getting my phone hacked. Why? Because I don't know much about technology, and I'm afraid of hackers.
Hence why we were on and off in a matter of seconds today. And here's how helpful I am. I don't know what happened. What do you want me to do? I'm
So
just sitting here.
I have no idea how to make a TikTok video. I have no idea how to make an interesting, funny, or memorable TikTok video.
Well, they should listen to some of our conversations in the car.
Right. But we're doing it. We're doing Facebook, YouTube, TikTok,
Instagram.
Stay off porn sites and you're good. Well,
Stay off porn sites and you're good.
Broadcasting or viewing, because there's a huge difference. So we're
the last thing I need is for you and Jeremiah to meet and become friends. And eventually we're headed to Lakeland.
Right. Lakeland, which by the way is in Florida. Not too far from
Orlando.
Yep.
And Ocala.
Oh, right. I'll be in Ocala. We'll be in Ocala.
We'll be in Ocala.
September 13th?
That's correct. 11 weeks.
Yeah. So very exciting. By the way, so let's talk about gigs. Because for those of you who have not seen the podcast before, Rene was a touring comic for 30 years and only somewhat recently retired.
Okay.
And, beg your pardon?
I said, okay, recently. It's been 5 years.
Somewhat recently.
Wait a second. It's been 6 years. You know, this is hysterical because I can't do math, but yet you're letting me handle your career. But have you noticed when you put a $sign in front of it, I get much quicker at the math?
Your math has improved. Your math has improved. By the way, I let today get away from me, so I sort of and I'm gonna shave live, coast to coast.
No, you are not.
Live on air. Gonna shave.
You know, and quite honestly, let's just be honest. Most of the time, comics don't do anything till it's showtime.
Oh, yeah. No
Please.
doubt. No
I
doubt.
retired 6 years ago. How many times do you think I've had makeup on since I retired?
I can think of once.
Well, I can think of 5 times.
I can think twice. A coffee get-together.
Oh, that's right. A eulogy.
And a eulogy. Those are
And
the two
the 5 episodes we've done here.
Oh, right. I was thinking of the ones where you were out and about.
Yeah, no. I actually put makeup on for this so I can sit in the dark because somebody commented I'm always in the dark.
I haven't figured out how to get rid of the shadowing over here, but I always have the sunlight on.
Hey, we own a production company. Why would we know anything about lighting?
Right? We're going to need to...
We'll wing it just like we're winging this crap, you know?
We have cameras and sound equipment. We're going to eventually need to get some lighting, I think, too.
Yeah, we probably are. I don't know. We might. Maybe we'll just hold up a flashlight. Because let's face it, you and I have now been talking 18 weeks in a couple of days. And at some point in that discussion, we said something about, hey, your show should really be in theaters. And we'd go, wonder how you do that. You go, I don't know. I go, well, I don't know. I guess we'll call and find out. and we're in theaters.
Yeah.
And then I get this great lady that's with a theater out in Kansas who starts giving me some helpful hints and telling me a few things. And I've
Yeah, I
wow,
haven't talked to her, but I love her. I love her.
I know I love her too. And thank goodness it's going somewhere. I mean, one of the things is our timing sucked because we're coming in at the end of a season, but we're way ahead on next season.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, I think we're going to have runs, like actual real tours in September and October, maybe
Right.
November. But then come 2026, I think the year's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. Well, March is already stacked up for us,
Oh, right.
you know. And fortunately or unfortunately, you're going back to doing some country clubs then, because the original gig that I called you about is in March.
Well, not some.
No, you have two more before that.
Do I really?
Yeah. Yeah, you have three in a row.
Did
I
I know
already
about?
got those booked. Yeah, you knew it. It was before we even started the theater thing. I had booked it.
Am I?
Remember? Hey, we're not even having to travel 5 miles between three different shows. Remember those conversations?
I yeah. Now I do.
Okay.
Yes, and looking forward to every one of them.
Oh, well, it's been a long time.
It has been a while. Now I'm just being a jerk. Um, so
No, you're not, because it has been a long time. It's not like we don't talk for hours on end anyway about everything that goes on, because you have to listen to all the phone calls. Took me a while, but Dad taught me how to hold a flashlight. Yeah,
that's
well,
it's the next comment you need to look at.
oh my God, it's a marriage. What's a no? Yeah, well, yeah, it is, because we're really close to divorce at any given second. You tell him stuff and he doesn't remember. Yeah. No, he does.
so
He does
so
remember.
as
I just have to put it in the whole situation.
so new segment. Hey, Mark, if you're still listening, I'm trying to do segments.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, this is the part where I catch him up on what his life is starting to look like.
So do you have any memories of weird audience happenings while you were on stage?
Well, we've already talked about the one where the guy had been in a motorcycle accident earlier in the day and passed out and almost died on the table in front of him. That my intermission of my comedy show was giving him CPR. I had one guy in my audience that had Tourette's syndrome, which
Oh,
was
I didn't know that.
yeah, and it was a country club gig where I'm supposed to be squeaky clean and, my normal, lovely, sweet self, right?
Right.
And so I can't yell anything back. And he's yelling out some pretty nasty stuff. That was pretty fun because I've always said that I have selective Tourette's syndrome. So there was that. I had one lady whose water broke.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure
And
she
then
wasn't?
in Birmingham or in Mobile, Alabama, I was always notorious for taking my shoes off. I wear high heels when I work, but high heels are not fun to wear, and stages are a little dangerous with them because, there are a lot of guys like our friend Bill, who his idea of a stage is 2x4s on milk crates, so
Right.
you're. So I would always kick my shoes off, and I had kicked my shoes off to the side of the stage. And there was a guy in the front row who got really, really sick and almost threw up in my shoes.
Wow.
Those are the ones that really stick out to me. I'm watching my hair turn gray as we're just sitting here, and that's you forgetting about gigs right there. I just want you to know.
I was doing a show somewhere in the Midwest. I don't remember where. And a guy got up from a table, and he walked up to a table of four women that were like a second row maybe. And he walked around to the front of the table where his back was to me, and he sort of leaned over the table. And I'm doing my show, and I'm watching him, and he, like, his back's to me, and he sort of leaned over, talking to these four women at a table, at a round table. And I'm nosy, a little bit curious, so I'm kind of watching him doing my set, and I'm watching, and it wasn't just a quick thing, like he's having a conversation. So I go, excuse me, hey, you at the table, hey, you standing up, hey, you at the table of the four women. And he literally does this. His back's to me, right? And I finally get his attention, and he goes, "Do you mind? I'm trying to get laid." And then he went right back to talking to him. And at that point, I'm like, good luck.
See, how come you have audience members like that? And the ones that I think of that I have that approach the stage were wanting to kick my butt. I used to love being in Fort Myers because I told you, the Laughing Comedy Cafe down there was one of the best places I ever worked. I loved it because it was a big room. It's like 350 people. And they have bouncers because they also had the nightclub next door, which...
Say it again. You cut out.
They had a nightclub next door. So they had the bouncers. So all of a sudden, the bartender or somebody would go, "Ooh, there's somebody threatening Rene." So all the bouncers would come and get in their positions, right? And normally in Fort Myers, I would have maybe a couple of cocktails, maybe, which usually makes me slightly braver.
Right.
And some guy would approach, and the bouncers would immediately start coming forward, and I go, "I got this." And they would go, "Okie dokie, fine." And they'd stand by. And some guy thought, there was always some guy that thought he was going to come and get me to shut up. And like I said, you've known me for 18 weeks. How easy do you think it's going to be to shut me up, especially if I've had a couple of drinks? Ask Jeremiah. He'll tell you it's not an easy task. Because I believe I've laid him out a couple of times.
Say the last part.
I said, I believe I've laid him out a couple of times verbally.
Oh, yeah. I think for some reason your stream seems like you've got an enlarged prostate.
And that's a shame because June is Men's Health Month.
I was doing a show in Atlantic City. Oh, he said
only in his 21st birthday. Yeah, he was a little drunk and a little loud, and I do remember letting him have it.
I was doing a show in Atlantic City, and there was a table of guys that were just loud and kind of drunk and really unwilling to quiet down. So I eventually had the club at the casino kick them out. What are you reading?
Nothing. I'm looking at you.
Oh, my God.
I'm looking at you. What am I reading? I'm looking at you.
So anyway, the club in this casino kicked out like these 4 or 5 guys. Now, again, in Atlantic City, a lot of casinos up and down the boardwalk. They could have gone anywhere, done anything. They stood outside the showroom in the casino for my entire show, like an hour and a half, hour 45, whatever it was. And about every 2 to 3 minutes, they would open up the door and they would scream, "You suck!" And then they'd close the door. And I'd do a little bit more time, and all of a sudden, "You suck!" Hour and a half, they never left, and nobody from the casino ever made a move.
Well, here's the funny thing, though, and I think you're the same way. I don't care. Yell at me all you want while I'm on stage. As long as you're not bothering anybody else, that's part of, I always felt like that's part of what I'm getting paid to do is to deal with that crap. And Jeremiah will tell you I was pretty good at it. I didn't take a lot of heckling well.
Right.
I could dish it back. And I know that you can too. You just don't like to because your show's not conducive to that.
I don't like, I mean, I have done combative comedy, but I don't like doing combative comedy. It's one of those deals like I don't like confrontation,
Yeah.
but I'm really good at it.
Well,
You
I
know,
will tell you
so
that
just because I don't like something doesn't mean I can't do it, but not my thing.
yeah, see, my children used to pray I would get hecklers.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because can you imagine how mellow I am the next day? I've yelled at somebody for an hour and a half at night. You know, I'm good. I'm good. I got it all out of my system. You guys want to go play on the street? Go ahead. Whatever you want to do. I'm good. Look how even I am. But no, I never minded it because I think I told you the story when I was a young comic, one of my first road trips. I had a night off and had an opportunity to go watch a female comedian, and a table full of guys ran her off the stage crying. And
Oh, wow.
I said, that's never going to be me. I'm going to be ready for that.
Right.
And so I was ready. If somebody wanted to do battle, I'm ready.
Uh-oh.
I'm ready. Uh-oh, what?
It's like you're an improv group, you're playing freeze tag.
Well, I don't know what that is. I'm just trying to be well behaved. I'm trying not to blurt crap out. At least I haven't used any dirty words. I
No,
can't
but
say that same from my partner.
you are the occasional blurter. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think you were going to wind up having to use the duct tape on me, but I have a feeling.
Say it again because you cut out.
I said I didn't think when I had mentioned using duct tape with you that you would wind up using it on me, but I have a feeling.
Well, now I was doing a show at a club called Matt's British Pub and Comedy Club in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
You've been there, right?
Yeah.
You've been to Matt's?
Yeah.
So I'm doing a show, and all of a sudden, this drunk woman, 40s, not like 20s, 40s, gets up out of her chair in the audience and she starts staggering to the stage, arms out like Frankenstein, right? And she starts yelling at
Drunk
me.
women are the worst.
Oh, horrible, horrible.
They're horrible.
She yells at me. She goes, "I don't like your earrings." And then she lunged at me to try to pull my earrings out of my head. So as she lunged at me, I grabbed her arm and I had to twist it. So now I have her arm behind her back, right? So I've got the mic in one hand and I've got her with her arm around her back, kind of like reaching with me with the other hand to try to grab my earrings. And I'm still doing my show. And I'm just holding her and I'm doing the show. And I thought if I kept doing my show, but I held her like someone from the club would go, "Oh, this doesn't seem right."
See, that's an issue too, and one of the reasons that I wanted you out of the clubs was because your show is not conducive to that, and clubs don't seem to get it and don't seem to be on the ready. I got very lucky with places like Bill at the Winter Circle in Lakeland. He
Right.
always made sure that hecklers didn't bother me. The Laugh-In Comedy Cafe was always good about that. Other than that, I've always had to handle them on my own. But there are other clubs. The worst, if you want to talk about the worst group of people in any clubs, have you ever had any bachelorette parties?
I have.
don't you just want to suck on a 9mm instead of doing a show in front of them?
I had a
that would be my preference, but
at a bachelorette party on the East Coast. I won't say which club or which town. And I always say when I get ready to ask for volunteers, look, by the way, if you don't want to do hypnosis, please don't come up on stage. If you've been drinking, a drink or two to relax is fine. A little bit tipsy might be okay, but if you're drunk, please don't come up here. And then I explain why. If you're drunk, it's hard to concentrate, but what's worse is you might end up throwing up. Yeah. And it happens about once a year. So one of the bachelorette party girls got up on stage. And I hadn't even started the induction. Like, I'm just setting up like what happens and how it works and what I'm looking for. And this gal who had been in the bachelorette party who got up on stage, her eyes got really big and she ran off stage. And I knew why. It was just the lights before I even started. And so she's gone for a while and I'm doing my show and I know she's not coming back. And evidently what happened was, from what I'm told, there are usually never enough stalls in a women's bathroom, so there's usually a line, right? Is that true?
sometimes,
Okay.
not always, but sometimes. But
So this bathroom was, the stalls were taken, and she needed to throw up. So she jammed her head in the garbage can. But the garbage can had one of those flippy lids, right? So head completely in the garbage can, from what I'm told, just literally letting loose. And then when she was done, she went to stand up, but the lid came with her. So now she has this metal lid on her head. She looks like a dog with a
so
safety.
I was gonna say that's the dog that's gotten into the garbage can picture.
Yeah. So, and I guess she was asking the women, but now it's got vomit on the perimeter.
Well, of course.
So she's asking women to get the lid off her head, and nobody would.
Well, no.
So she ends up coming back into the showroom with the dog safety cone garbage can lid on her head. And I stopped the show and I said to the audience, I go, look, I don't care what's happening up here. You need to look over there because that's a better show. And we just sort of watched the walk of shame as she
Boy, I've done some stupid stuff when I've been drinking.
I had a woman in I won't say which club, but in Texas, bachelorette party, and the club I worked at. Have you ever been to clubs where they serve popcorn
Yeah.
for free, and it's a little extra salty, so people drink more, they get thirsty?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of those clubs, and evidently they're doing shots and eating popcorn and doing shots, and they're getting hammered. Same thing. If you're drunk, please don't come up here. Here's why. Gal comes up, early mid-20s, very attractive, nice figure. She's wearing a little black dress with a low-cut V-neck. So we're starting. Okay, stop for a second. You know how some lawns, when they have sprinklers, they're sprinklers, right? But when you have shrubs, they have bubblers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah, you're scaring me. Just hurry up and blow through this so I know whether we're going to get to keep this video on this.
So this woman, attractive, little black dress,
V-neck.
V-neck, low cut, she starts being a popcorn bubbler. Just, and all of a sudden I see popcorn coming out of her mouth, almost like there's an old Steve McQueen movie called The Blob. It was like that. But so suddenly, and she's making the noise, and she's got a popcorn chin, and then she's got a popcorn goatee.
That's going down into her cleavage.
Yeah. And I literally, it's like if I was at the movie theater, I would have asked for a large with butter.
Well, you know what? I got to give you a lot of credit, Flip. That's not how I saw this story coming.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I thought something was coming out of the V-neck.
No. Something went in the V-neck. and
Sounds
lots of it. Evidently, that gal had consumed a lot of popcorn. A lot of popcorn.
I I don't I don't even know what to say. You really surprised me. I'm very pleased with the way you cleaned that up. And you haven't even mentioned Bob's Chuckle Hut.
Welcome to Bob's Chuckle Hut, where tonight we got comedy all night, every night.
I mean, people don't understand really our life, and unless it's somebody that's been really close to us.
Yeah.
I can remember going on gigs, and this was before, GPS and all of that. We talked about this before. You got the Rand McNally. Literally, I swear to God, comedy zones used to find a screened-in porch and would talk the people into turning it into a comedy club. I was in Mississippi one time and actually turned off the highway where it said to turn, and I was on a red clay road and you couldn't see anything. And it said drive 3 miles. So I drove the 3 miles, and there's a place, and it's a comedy club. Never heard of not being able to hold your popcorn. Oh, you would be surprised what comes up sometimes. Yeah, anything's anything is expellable.
Oh my gosh. No doubt.
I've done the research for you. Don't. I was a pretty good drinker in my day.
I heard you went pro.
I was a professional. Well, look at how long you've known me. How long have you known me? And have you ever known me to half-ass anything?
No. And if you're going in, you're like all in. All in.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
So if I was going to drink, bring it on. Top that was always my motto.
So I used to live in Los Angeles. And when you live in LA, like a lot of comics would work a lot of, like if you're working, they had the Comedy Store, they had the Improv on Melrose. Comedy Store was maybe Wilshire, I forget. And then it wasn't Wilshire. And then not the Laugh Stop, not the Last Laugh, not Laughs, another one, whatever. But other than that, you're working a lot of one-nighters. And so I had booked a club in Salt Lake City that I'd worked a bunch before called Cartoons. And in the day, Cartoons was a 2-story theater, a comedy club, big stage, big room, 500 seats, I think roughly about that. And I used to sell it out. We had a great time. The first time I went, I was shocked how much fun the people in Salt Lake City were, and how much fun and how much I loved doing that room. And so at one point, I was booked for 3 weeks, and we sold out every show, standing room only. Great shows, 2-hour shows, 2.5-hour shows, 3-hour shows, standing ovations. And I'm not going to lie, it messed with my ego a little bit. And I started feeling a bit like a star.
No.
Which is not me. I mean, honestly, that is not me.
I know that
is not me.
You're very humble.
It was early on in my career. I'm selling out shows. I'm held over, 500 seats, lots of volunteers, standing ovations. And when it was all said and done, I flew back to my home in LA. And like the next night, I had a one-nighter. And it turns out I was headlining at Denny's.
Well, I can tell you a story that'll make you cry.
What you want to talk about getting your ego in check? It's like the universe goes, ratchet your shit back. You're not a star. You had a good week, couple weeks, 3 weeks. Now you're at the Denny's. That'll keep you humble.
I was working the racetrack in Hollywood, Florida. And they had a big bar there. And the first night they had 5 people. All right. I'm being paid the same amount of money. I'm going to do a show. The second night, 4 of the 5 people from the night before were the only ones there. They had been there the night before.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they came back to see the show again. So I just started making stuff up on the fly. That's one of those where you go, you don't mind if I sit at the table with you, do you? Since your fifth friend didn't show up, I'll just sit here with you and do the show. Yeah, that'll put your ego in check really quick.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah,
In a
you just go, what the, what was I thinking that this was a good job?
I
But
did say, go ahead.
how many times has somebody that's done comedy, there are ways to turn comedy into doing other things. For example,
Did you see my quizzical look?
I saw the big question mark pop up on your
Yeah.
on your face. What
Like the
I'm
Riddler.
talking about is I never thought I would be a public speaker, but
Oh,
because of my comedy career, it made it real easy to do that. And I think there are a lot of other comics who've become spokespeople for certain things,
yeah, of course.
I will tell you it's a lot of fun though, because I do testify frequently in court. And some people, my friends know this, yours don't, but um, I lobby legislation against sex crimes against children. And I also work as a victim advocate and work with children and their families. So sometimes when I have to testify in court, it's funny because a lot of the court staff will come out the night before to see my show.
Oh, wow.
And they're swearing me in, and you just see judges and court clerks go, "Oh dear God, don't let her say the F word during any of this." They're also very afraid I'm always going to be a blurter, but I'm pretty good in court. Pretty good at court.
I was, because I don't get recognized often. I don't care. Never been into this business to be recognized. I don't care. So, but I've worked over the years a lot in Phoenix and Tempe and, Arizona, and have had a lot of fun. And the city has been really, really, really supportive. I've done a lot of media over the years. I've had wonderful shows. And I have a lot of friends in the area. So one night, a buddy of mine, this is quite a few years back, picks me up at the end of my show in a limo. And this guy is kind of eccentric and well-to-do, and the limo is filled with people. And so the Tempe Improv is upstairs in like an outdoory mall, kind of like a strip mall or whatever. So I'm coming down the stairs along with 400 people from the audience because I know this guy's going to pick me up. And all of a sudden, a woman topless shoots out the sunroof and starts bouncing up and down, screaming my name because my buddy told her to do that. And I don't embarrass easily, but again, that's sort of it's not my scene. So I was kind of embarrassed, and people are looking at her, then looking at me, and looking at her, and I'm like, I don't know. So I get downstairs, I get in the car, and it's filled with people, and they're drinking. And I go to my buddy, I go, "Where are we going?" He goes, "It's a surprise." I'm like, "Well, where are we going?" He goes, "It's a surprise." I go, "I don't like surprises." He goes, "Well, this will be fun." And I know him, that means it's not going to be fun. So the limo goes to like sort of a warehousey district in sort of a seedy part of Phoenix. And we get out and we go into this building.
See,
Turns
I
out
got my hand on my firearm.
it's an on-premises swingers club. Like people are meeting up and having sex in that club. They're not hooking up and going elsewhere. They're doing it there. So we get out of the car, we go inside, and the bouncer goes, "Oh my God, you're Flip Orley." I'm like, "Really?"
Do you see why I want you to write a book?
That's who's going to recognize me, the bouncer at a swingers club where people are having steamy, naughty, nasty sex. It was such a creepy place that when you went in and the cover charge for women was free, for single men was fairly expensive. My buddy paid it. They gave you a plastic cup, and then you put your name, like they duct tape on it, and you put your name on the cup. And
Yeah.
everybody used fake names because they're at a swingers club, so they're all using like Daisy Duke and Daffy Duck, and I'm like, asshole just called me out when I walked in the door. It's like, oh, you're Flip Orley, so I'm like, I'm Flip.
You know I wasn't being rude and ignoring you when I looked at my phone, right?
No, well, I didn't know that, but
Okay. Well, I just wanted you to know because that might be for your business. So that I always check it.
Was it a business thing?
No. What? No. No, it was actually somebody that gave a shit about me for a change.
Nice. Well, I care about you. Hey, you want to hear a fun fact at swingers clubs where people are having sex right there in front of you?
Of course. Why would I?
As it turns out, because
Jeremiah is all ears.
I don't, as it turns out, I don't always pay attention to what I'm doing until it's too late. But fun fact, in swingers clubs where people are naked and having sex, really, really, really frowned upon when anybody points and laughs.
Why?
Okay, so
Why would you?
so there was a sectional sofa, and there are different rooms, right? Different rooms. So there was a sectional sofa, and it was big, and in this room there was a big screen TV playing like 24/7 porn, and there was maybe 9 or 10 or 11 people on the sectional sofa, and they were doing their sexual version of the human centipede. Okay.
You can explain this to me later, all right?
But it was like one person was attached to one person, then someone was attached to them, someone was attached to them in some form or fashion, right? And none of them were lookers. You know, I guess, I mean, it's all in the eye of the beholder, but whatever. They weren't exactly lookers, but there was this one guy at the end of the sectional sofa that was head and shoulders more than any of them not a looker. Like if they were threes, he was a 0. If they were 5s, he was a 1. Whatever your ratio is.
Week 2.
And
I'm just saying, week
beg your
2.
pardon?
I just want you to know, week 2.
Hey.
So, but everybody, like every person was attached to another person all the way around the sofa, except for this one guy. Like they wouldn't let him on the train. He was still at the station. And so he was watching the porn on TV and then them, and the porn on the TV and them. And evidently his hand had accepted him into the sexual moment. So he was doing himself because he wasn't allowed to be part of the party.
You know what I'm thinking right now? Do you really want to know? I'm
Sure.
hoping my grandchildren did not pick tonight to watch our podcast.
But so I know it's not right, but I'm seeing people, and it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, I didn't know people would want to do that. And then I got
But
to
here's what I like about your friend Mark, right? Mark, you're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be on my side. We are not doing theaters and swingers clubs. We are not. We are not. I'm in the car with the dog. The dog and I are not participating in any of this. No.
So, like, I eyeball the entire couch, like from left to right, and then I see this guy by himself. And before I could stop myself, I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I started laughing, but like, this is really inappropriate. And I was
Yeah.
told that I wasn't trying to be mean. I didn't do it on purpose. It was spontaneous. I was a blurter.
And I would like to say that these stories surprise me, and I've never heard anything like this out of you before, but this kind of is just like every day.
And the whole point of that story was I went downstairs with my sold out audience, and a lady popped out of a sunroof yelling my name, and I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But then I realized, you know what? There was more to the story. So
I spent all morning putting those keywords in for YouTube to use to get us to the right audience. Caterpillar never showed up.
No, it's not a caterpillar. It's a centipede.
Centipede.
And I won't even. I don't know that I'll tell you what that is, even like privately. It's not good. But they weren't like that. I mean, they were just doing.
Oh my God, for
Hey.
you not to be willing to tell me. Wait a second. I heard my phone go off. One of my friends is probably willing to tell me. Oh, no, actually. Actually, I think we just took another theater.
You cut out on my end, but I know everybody else can hear you. What'd you say?
I said, I think we just booked another theater, and I don't want to say which one, but I'll tell you it's very close to my house. Yeah, it's that one. That means
enough.
we're having drinks and dinner at the Olive Garden.
Wow, that'll be fun.
Yeah, you'll get to babysit me for a change, because from the stories you're telling, it sounds like I'm going to be doing a lot of babysitting. But yeah, actually, it looks like we booked that show in Orlando.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that meeting was supposed to be. Was it tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but he thinks he's already got the date for that, and it's a good date.
Holy moly, macaroni!
Oh, I'm excited. That's a really good gig. And look, that's what's funny about this theater thing. There are theaters that I talked to in April that are still, they call me every week to get an update on your schedule, and they're hoping to get you in the next round, and they're not yanking our chain or anything. That's the way the theaters work. I talked to this guy last week.
Hey.
Well, that's exciting. That's very exciting.
Yeah, that's why I never let my phone go.
I get it. I do.
Only an hour away. That's right, Jeremiah. This would be a good place for you to come and see a show. But also, too, November 14th, we're definitely doing the podcast from Winter Circle, and hopefully we'll have a show the day after, but we're not allowed to talk about that yet. But we can talk about doing the podcast.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
November 14th in Winter Circle.
Again, this is a brand new podcast and a very small audience, and we're hoping to build it. So when I say this, I get.
We were hoping to build it. After tonight, I have no prayer of us.
Or maybe that'll attract viewers. But when possible and wherever possible, we're going to try to do a podcast live in different venues. And then we'll either just do it, Renee and myself, or we'll open it up. And if anybody ever wanted to show up, they'd be more than welcome. And then we can hang out and talk and do the podcast. And if you had questions, we could do that. And so one of the places we're talking about doing, we've actually settled on doing a live podcast, was at Winter Circle in Lakeland, Florida.
At one of my favorite places, Winter
Yeah.
Circle. You'll love it. It kind of is a crazy, wild place. Well, it tells you what I thought of it, that I chose to end my career there.
Right.
Because Winter Circle will end your career.
And in fact, the owner of Winter Circle, Bill
Alcock.
Alcock, yeah, was a guest on our second episode or third.
Second or third, I'm not sure. Mumble, mumble, mumble. I could show the audience my gun. Mark. Where does Mark live? Where is Mark?
Texas.
Dallas or Houston? Because I want to know where I'm starting to market to. Because, Mark, I want to hang out with you. Because out of all of Flip's friends so far, you're one of the ones that I want to hear the stories from, because I have a feeling you've got the good ones.
He's got some. He's got some.
I bet he does.
Yeah.
It's compact, but it's big enough. Oh my God! Why, Richardson, north of Dallas?
You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to read this. Or can everyone see it? I guess
everybody can see it. It's in the chat. Everybody can see it in.
Yeah, my bad.
I wasn't blurting. Put your duct tape away.
Duct tape, 1,002 uses.
1,003 now. 3. Wait, you thought I was going to tell where he lived? He's got his first and last name on it, for crying out loud.
That's true also. And thankfully he didn't put his address.
Oh my God. And then we got Jeremiah. Between Jeremiah and Mark, do we really need any other audience members?
Well,
I mean, none are as crazy as they are, for crying out loud.
No, but we would love you. If you're watching this on a recorded podcast later, we'd love you to subscribe and like and share.
Like, share, subscribe. Please just subscribe. Then I don't have to try to post the link every week, because for some reason I can't pull that off. So then I got to send Flip a text message, and he goes, "What?" I go, "Will you please post the link to the podcast?" And he goes, all you have to do is I tried that. It doesn't work. And then he yells and screams at me. He's
horrible.
It's awful.
But like, share, subscribe, and comment. And why? It helps the algorithm.
Ooh. Hey, we would like to build this up into something.
Oh no, of course.
But it would be fun. And it's fun because some of you may not know this. This is the closest we've been to being in the same room in 35 years.
Yeah, we haven't been in the same room since 1990. I told someone yesterday it was 1995, but you corrected me. It was 1990.
Yeah, because as Jeremiah said earlier, you don't listen.
Jeremiah, this is not for Renee, it's for you.
I'm sorry, I don't think we're allowed to use that finger on YouTube.
Really?
Well, I don't know. I just said that.
How funny would that be if we got a strike for that? I mean, I don't know.
We don't know. We've been in trouble in much better places than YouTube, for crying out loud.
So we've been up for about an hour 5.
That's pretty good for you guys, isn't it?
You want to tell any more stories, or you want to save it for the next one?
Oh, I don't know. Considering I only slept about 15 minutes last night, and I've got a gig I'm about ready to book for you that's going to make a nice little profit for us. I'm ready to get the hell out of here.
Well, so okay, let's do all the social media stuff. I'm sorry for doing this.
Do you want me to? No, I don't like you doing it because that's what a manager's supposed to do. I'm supposed to do all that. So we have a website for Flip that's fliporley.com.
Booyah!
It has its road schedule on there, which we will be adding to, I hope, very rapidly, because we can't stay at home much longer. He has Twitter, Flip Orley. He has Instagram, Flip Orley. He has Facebook, Flip Orley, because apparently for somebody who doesn't have an ego, everything is named frickin' Flip Orley. He also has a TikTok, which I'm assuming is Flip Orley.
Oh yeah.
Then the part that I care about is Road Comic Adventures on YouTube. Please subscribe. Then you will always know when we have a podcast coming out, because they are going to start being a lot more sporadic from when we're shooting on the road, as we will find out this week if I have to stay on him 24 hours while he's on the highway. And Mark, I'm counting on you to make sure that he does a little film with you so I get to see who you are.
That'll be fun.
We have Road Comics Adventures on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. You can get in touch with me at Rene Bray on Facebook, Twitter. And I don't know why anybody would want to get in touch with me, because I only take care of him. You're my own. Yeah, he's a handful. I don't need any more clients. I have a hard. I enjoy doing this with him. We've had a lot of fun. He really is a lot better behaved than he appears, and I'm a lot better at keeping secrets than I appear. Right?
Okay. No, of course you are. Of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah.
Mumble, mumble, mumble.
But the most fun that we have, at least I think you as well as I, is doing this podcast. And we hope that a bunch of people will start posting on our comments. We enjoy this. It's fun. And until we get out on the road, this is what we got for now.
Right.
I mean, he leaves me at home alone while he goes out on the road and has his fun. And I just book theaters for him.
So we'll do this Tuesdays, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and hopefully start adding more content too. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. And we hope to see you at a theater near you sometime soon.
Sounds good to me. Bye, guys. Right. Thanks a million. Bye.
Takes me a second. Takes me another second. And we're